Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Rebecca Austin and I am a Kajabi expert and consultant. In this video, we are going to talk just a little bit about Encore. I am so excited to be able to share with you the new page builder from Kajabi. At least at the time of recording this video, Kajabi is releasing this new page theme, and I've had a chance to play with it for a couple months, and it is super, super awesome. You are going to love it. Kajabi is continually raising the bar on the services and features and elements that it offers. And this one really blows all of the other ones out of the water on what it does to be able to allow you really, really specific customization on your pages. Now remember, pages are the foundation for pretty much everything that you're going to do inside Kajabi to be able to market your business. So there's a couple things that Kajabi does probably better than anybody else, and one of them is the platform to be able to host your online products. So if you're doing training or things like that, you have those products to be able to deliver that training. And the other aspect is all of the things that it does to be able to allow you to market your business, whether it be services, a brick and mortar business, or those online products that you've created inside Kajabi. With the new Encore page builder, it takes that marketing to a completely new level because your pages can be your home page or other website pages, but then it also is your pipeline pages, your marketing pages that you use for opt-ins and registrations and thank you pages and delivery pages for a lead magnet, for example, or if you're doing an evergreen webinar. And then it also then is your sales pages. So having this incredible ability to really get custom in there is so exciting, and you are just going to love it. So let's jump on in and I'll show you some of the new features of Encore, how to use them, how to navigate it, because it is definitely different than anything that we've seen before. It's a lot more flexible on what you can do with building out your blocks, but at the same time, because it's so flexible, it can sometimes be a little overwhelming at first. So let me take away that overwhelm and show you exactly what Encore is and how to navigate it. Let's jump on in. So here is an example of a Encore page that I built for my website. One of the cool things that we can do on Encore is we can actually have drop-down menus on your main menu, which is really super cool. So for example, this is my regular menu, and then I have a drop-down menu that talks about specific services that I offer. And we also then can continue to have our call to action, but at the same time, our call to action button is a little more customizable in that we can actually decide how round or rectangular that we want to make our buttons, as well as customize the color. And it just gives us a lot more flexibility just in the menu. The other thing that it does is it allows mobile versus desktop settings to be able to have a lot more customization for the mobile side of things, which is super exciting. In the past, we didn't have quite as much of that customization on the mobile view. So let's jump on over into Encore itself and I'll show you a little bit about that. So to create your Encore page, just like anything, when you're setting up a page, we simply go to New Page from our menu. We go to Website Pages, or from the Kajabi Assistant, we can always type in Pages and it will take us to New Page. And then we select New Page. Then we will have our Encore theme now shows up here at the top. If you're wondering about the former templates and Premier, it's still there. We just have to scroll down and go into Legacy Themes and find it under Legacy. But the Encore themes, they have several main templates that you can start with. Honestly, depending on what you're doing, it really doesn't matter, because just like any other page, you are going to be building it from the blocks, and so whichever starting point that you go with, you're going to kind of move things around and customize it anyway. So it pretty much just kind of goes with the type of page that you're creating, you can start with that if you're doing a home page, a sales page, a video page, or an opt-in page, those kind of things. But don't be limited by that, simply because you can do whatever you want to within there once you've loaded that Encore page. So we can maybe start with a video opt-in, for example, get started, and then set your title, and then install the theme. And then Kajabi will load things up for you based on the title that you, or the theme that you have selected. Now, a few things that you'll notice that's a little bit different that you may not have seen in the past is that we have these little highlighted sections where it shows you your section, which is essentially your block. We've called them blocks in the past, now they're calling them sections. And then within the section are blocks. So this is a section, and then inside that section are specific blocks within the section. So that gives you these little highlights. You can actually turn those off in the settings if you don't want to see these little highlighted sections. We need to do that by going into our settings and then design tools, and then we can turn off those show grids. I kind of like to see them because it helps us if you're setting up your spacings and things like that. Of course, anytime that you're setting up a page, regardless of whether it's Encore or otherwise, make it a good habit to go into your settings first, because then you can do things like changing your favicon, your fonts and color scheme and things like that, so that way you have all of those set up before we start building out the page. Now inside the sections, of course, we have our header and our footer that we want to make sure that we go in and customize for your branding. But if we go into header, for example, we can add a lot of different content. We also have desktop layout and we have mobile layout. So we can set up our settings for the desktop layout. So for example, we can actually fix this so that when we scroll, it stays at the top of the page. That's something that's new. We can have it overlay, which is just overlaid on top, and then just our normal. We can also hide the header if we don't want to have that header showing on the page itself. So those are a couple of our desktop settings. But then we can go into mobile settings, and in mobile, again, we can hide the header. And then we can decide where we want that menu, because you know, in a mobile setting, the header, or your menu and your header shows up as your 3 lines. To expand, and we can decide if we want that to be on the left, the center, or the right. You can customize where that is set up on mobile, as well as your background color and some of those kind of things. So it's pretty neat that we now have these really specific customized settings, and we can have whatever content. So you can have the logo if you want to. If not, we just take that out. We have our main menu and our user menu. Of course, the user menu being your login options and the settings for the user. You could take that out if you don't want that to be displayed. We just go in here and delete the block, and then now you notice that that little user icon is gone. We can add content, and this is where you can add your drop-down menu, or if you want to do an announcement, a call to action. These are all some really cool things that we can put in there. So if I put in an announcement, we now have this bar, a banner at the top. If we do a drop-down menu, then we can title what we want the text to be, which in my case, I had this as services. And then we select the menu that we want to have there, which is where you go into your navigation, custom navigation, and set up a custom navigation menu. And then that becomes an additional menu that then has a drop down. Okay, so that is in our header as far as settings that we have for the header. Now let's go into the body of the page. It gets a little bit different on this as well. So if we start off with our sections, we can do the same thing that we could with Premiere and our other themes, in that you can move them around by grabbing your little hand icon on the side. We also then have these 3 dots where we can rename it. You can duplicate it, we can hide it, and we can delete it. So this is the same. This hasn't changed from our previous themes. What we can do though is when we add a section, if you notice, this is completely different. So they're divided out into categories. So we have our basic content includes our text, but now we have columns. So this is super cool because we have 2-column text, 3-column text in panel, call to action, form, and text. So these are some basic content that we can do. But if we do a 3-column text, for example, now we have these set up as columns. If we want to do a hero, there are several heroes. In the hero section, we have your basic hero. We have a hero with a countdown timer. We have a hero with a form, hero with image, and hero with video. So these are some different options that we have to be able to do all of those. It's to get us started. On features, these are our features. So this one is a 3-column feature here, but then we also can do it as 2-column. We can do as 4-column, and then we can have our various features. Marketing, we have opt-in forms, event countdowns, a multi-video launch. So a lot of the tools that we had before, we still have. We haven't lost them. They're just categorized a little bit differently, but I'll show you how they're different in just a moment. So we have our images divided out here. We have various videos where we can do an in-video embed, video gallery, text and video, and our just plain video. We have offers where we have different types of offers. So this is where we have a basic offer. We have offer storefront. So you might do this on like a store page, for example, or even on your home page where you want to have some specific store categories that are available on your page. We have a pricing card, which has our columns like we did in Premiere, but then we also have pricing option where you can just have one. That makes it really easy. If you only have one price option, then we just set it up like this, and of course then customize it from there. We have FAQs that can either be in just a regular FAQ, but then we can also set it up as an FAQ grid where now again we have our columns, so it makes it much better for spacing. So we can convert this much easier into mobile and have everything line up the way we want them lined up, which is super handy. Then of course we have our social aspect, which we can do blog posts, and again our columns if we want to do it as 2, 3, or 4 columns. And then we do have our custom section and our custom code, which I do a lot with custom because then we have a lot more capabilities even further to build this out the way we want to. So if I were to do custom section, for example, and we want to add that custom section, we add our content, and all of these are content blocks that we can add inside that section. On top of that, we have our background where we can customize our background. You can do background video, you can do a background image, or we can just have a solid background and then select our color. We can fix the background image so that it's fixed on scroll, which is a super handy one where if you want things to be where it scrolls over on top of that image. Then we have our desktop layout and our mobile layout, and we have a time reveal feature. So this just gives us a lot of really great additional editing options, as you can see. So let's go back then, and we'll go up here, for example, into our hero section. On here we have our text, and we can actually go in here, and if you notice now we can adjust our spacing by simply changing the columns. So if I want this text to be smaller and the video to be larger, we simply bring the text down to say 4, remembering the total is 12. So if we go all the way across 12, then it brings it as a header. And if we take it down to 4 and then move our video into 8, we now have it set up as a larger video and smaller text. So you can see how powerful this is, where it makes it super easy to be able to customize this and set it up, the sizing and the spacing and mobile capabilities the way we want them. Now let's go to this text. We can do things like our background, and we can change our background color for the text itself. So let's say behind this text, I want to have a blue background. It now automatically sets our text to white, which then you can customize your text as well. If we want to have that text background in white, we just change it to white, and there we go. Now instead of the letters floating over our background image, we have this nice offset color. And you can do that for pretty much every block to customize the block inside the section. So not only can we customize our sections, but we can also customize our blocks. And on top of that, within the section itself, we can continue to add content inside our section. So here we have all of these different things that we can add inside this hero section here on top. So let's say that I want to add a form to this particular section. We can make it 12 so it shows up here at the bottom. We can then have a custom thank you page that it goes to. We have our text that we can customize. We can set up our animations, and then we also choose what form that we want to be inside this block, and just customize it the way you want to. I mean, we can just go all kinds of crazy when we get into here. But here's where it gets even more fun. We have things like animations. So animations is where we have some motion when we are going into this page. So for example, on my example page I was showing you earlier, we not only have our drop-down menu, but as I scroll, you see how this rolled in and we have this animation. So there was that animation there as well. And then we have this animation to be able to have it pop and kind of get that attention grabbing when someone is scrolling through your page, that there's some animation there. So that's another super cool capability that we can do. So we can have no animation, a fade, a flip, or a zoom. We can have it come in from up, down, left, or right. And you can have an animation delay and an animation duration. So you can adjust those on how long that animation, if it's a real quick one or if it's a little slower slide, those kind of things. So we have some super, super cool capabilities here, as well as our time reveal that you can have on that section. So a time reveal is super handy on something like, for example, if you're doing a webinar evergreen, so there's the webinar play page, we can have the offer or the opt-in can have a time reveal where it doesn't show up right away. It can time reveal after they've had a chance to watch part of the video. So really, really super cool on some of these options that we have in here. So this is just kind of giving a very brief overview to get you familiar so you can see what's in here, to be able to have your sections that we can continue to build out and make this section even more, where we have our countdown, select our event, and have that section in there. We can have multi-video launch. I mean, all kinds of different things that we can add into this section and build it out, as well as then additional sections and our custom content and our custom code with animations and time delays and more customized backgrounds and customized spacing. So for example, on this right here, I'm noticing that I might want to move this just a little bit because it's a little too close right here. So that's where we go into our layout, and we can change it from left alignment, center alignment, and right alignment. But then you can actually go in here and move with our spacing, both inside spacing and outside spacing. So this has a -80. We're going to take this to 0, and you see how that dropped that button down into its separate block. So this is where you can just kind of play with it and set it up to where it looks exactly the way that you want it to look on your Encore. Now, if you are interested in a free Encore sales template, I do have this available on my website where I have created a sales page template in Encore to help you get started and to help you kind of navigate some of this and then have some strategies on creating a sales page. So you can go to my website and the link that is with the description in this video to be able to have the link to access this Encore template. All you have to do is then just download that, and then when you go into your upload new page, let me go back into that section. And I'll show you from your pages, instead of a new page, you'll just upload theme and then drop that file right in here. I make it super easy for you on getting started on your Encore with a special template specifically designed for sales pages. So give me a thumbs up if you are super excited about the Encore theme as I am. I can't wait to see how everybody is using this Encore theme and how much it changes and completely revolutionizes what we can do inside Kajabi with our page building. One quick question that is often asked that I've heard so far a lot is, can I convert an existing page over to Encore? The simple answer is unfortunately no. There's not an easy way to just copy code over. I've even tried that. There's just too much different programming between Premiere and some of the other themes over to Encore. But if you have all of your elements, you can really easily just copy and paste because a lot of the elements are very similar. And so I have done that with some of my pages as well, to be able to just take those elements, copy the text over to the new Encore theme, upload your images and your videos into the new Encore theme, and then start doing your customizations with some of the really cool new things like your spacing and your menus and the animations and things like that. So again, if you're excited about Encore, give me a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, I would really love to welcome you, and feel free to subscribe because I do post Kajabi tutorials and marketing tutorials, strategies, and how to grow your online business. We post those videos regularly so that you can stay on top of everything there is for growing your business through Kajabi. Have fun building with the new Kajabi Encore.